Osio, Ayodaza. Welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Okay, so we are now doing lecture 2 of the Empire Strikes Black series. Okay, we finished the lineage. So this is lecture 2, and this is the second presentation in lecture 2. We did the first presentation already, and I'm gonna do a little recap. So, let me properly introduce this. So, this is lecture 2 of The Empire Strikes Black. Okay. Moors and Indians, friends or enemies, the true Ourstory of the Fez and the Feather. Okay. And so the last presentation, I didn't realize that I wasn't screen sharing with you guys, so I'm gonna have to do just a quick recap because I know some of y'all had some concerns about references and stuff like that not being visible. Okay. So, that being said, I'm going to get right into it because we're going to stick to this half hour. All right. So, see here, before we get started, I'm going to look at some concerns and questions from the comment section right quick. We'll do that for just a few minutes. Let's see here. Okay, so first comment is from brother Abdallah El Ibrahimi. Hey, brother. Peace. Oshio. All right, so brother Ibrahimi says, peace. One of my main reasons why I didn't necessarily accept the narrative of civilization beginning in the West was after becoming acquainted with Horace Butler's work. I am still a student and a seeker. However, at this point in my journey, I do accept that the Americans are ancient and that Cushitic peoples were here originally and had high civilizations, empires, and trade networks, etc. I am of the opinion that ancient America and ancient Egypt, North Africa were twin cultures, civilizations that have an extensive history. I even submit to the research findings that pyramids in the Americas are older than the ones in Egypt. There are some theories and explanations that are presented by Horace Butler and others that I have come to grips to accept based on other archaeologists and anthropologists' works that I respect that state the contrary. All of the evidence and literary works that you've shared showing what's considered to be Egyptian artifacts and civilization in North America, I fully accept, and of the opinion that there's an ancient relationship and cross-pollination between the two cultures, making them, in reality, one culture. I thank you for your comment, Brother Abdallah. Okay, so, well, one thing that I will add to that is that in regards to, I know you're having a problem with civilization beginning in the West, okay? What you gotta, I'm not gonna get too deep into that because we're gonna deal with that later on, but I'll touch on it right quickly. The thing is that the anthropologists, there is a concerned effort to cover up the extreme antiquity of civilization in the Western Hemisphere. Okay? As a matter of fact, a lot of artifacts, they find artifacts all the time that are found here, but they ship them over in the East and say they came from over there. Okay? And they cover up a lot of stuff that they find here as well. So we'll get into that later on. Also, you can't accept the narrative. See, the thing is that we've been given this religion of Darwinism, okay, and the whole out of Africa theory. The out of Africa theory has been long debunked, okay, a long time. So I know that's going to be hard for you to come to grips with. I understand. You stated so in your comment. So we're going to deal with that. I have all of that evidence here. Trust me, I have it all. But I'm going to present the information in an orderly fashion, because what happens is if you just throw a bunch of information out there randomly, and this is why a lot of the newcomers to this school of thought, the reason why a lot of them are having problems with, understanding, the whole thing about civilization starting here, the whole thing about the Moors and things like that, is because you have a whole lot of people just throwing information out just randomly, and there's no context, and the information is not being presented in a structured fashion. You see what I'm saying? So the way that I teach is in an orderly manner so that the information can be understood. So I'm not going to go off topic and try to address everything in depth, because I want you to really grasp the information, okay? And I'm going to leave it at that. So let's go on to the next. We're already 5 minutes in. Okay, let's see. Okay, next comment is coming from the autochthonous one. And he says, peace, no disrespect, Moor. How did you go from an Indian to a Moor? Okay, thank you for your comment, autochthonous one. And, okay, so, and my reply was, Shiro Nakli, I don't fully understand your question. In reality, little grasshopper, the abbot will now ask you the real question. Are the two mutually exclusive? The so-called Indian and Moor. Okay? And so I said, This is your homework assignment for the next few days. Also, you have to watch my series, The Empire Strikes Black, Lecture 1, Parts 1 through 10, The Lineage of the Aboriginal Movement. If not, you should find your answer there. I also suggest watching The Empire Strikes Black Lecture 2, which we are on now. That's the lecture series. That's the second lecture in the series of The Empire Strikes Black. Okay, first we dealt with the lineage, and now we're dealing with Moors and Indians, friends or enemies. Okay, I don't suggest looking at this one first because you have to go through the first 10 presentations of the first lecture. Okay, and then I said after you've watched those videos, then hit me back with the answer. Don't a doggone eat. Okay, so I'll touch on this one. I'm going to be looking for my homework assignment, brother. All right. And let's see. He also says, peace, bro. Peace, my bro. Please email me. Okay. I need to really build with you about something. Okay, I did. I touched on this one. I did reply. I did send you an email in reply. So I haven't heard anything back from you yet. So check your email. Okay, you'll see it coming from TP Longhouse. That's my email address, tplonghouse@gmail.com. That's me. So yeah, just check your email and we could build from there. All right. Without further ado, we're gonna get right into the lecture. I wanted to look at some more comments, but I'm looking at the time and I'm real adamant about staying on the 30-minute time frame here, okay? Because we have to recap because of a technical difficulty from the last lecture. The screen wasn't being shared. So, okay, page 14. So let's just look at what we, let's see. Minimize here a little bit. 1 second. Here. Okay, so we looked at, okay, this is the first slide, Moors and Indians. Okay, we already talked about that. Okay, and the points of discussion. As a matter of fact, I'm glad we didn't do that, share the screen before, because that's something that I pulled up the wrong slide. There was a couple of slides. It was actually the wrong link, I pulled up the wrong one. This was the updated one. All right, so the points of discussion. The term Moor is not of Greek origin. Point 2, it doesn't have to necessarily be in order, but the next point is getting beyond the idea of the noble savage. Next point, the Moors are not enemies of the Amerindian, but rather one and the same people. The next point is the extent of our Aboriginal empire, and the next point, Freemasonry and how the mixed-blooded American Indians sold out the Moors. Okay, and so we dealt with the term Moor, and in the term Moor, we looked at one of my publications that I put out called the Olmec Renaissance, okay? And we looked at the one We looked at the winter edition from 2018, Volume 7, dealing with the real Wakanda is in America, the grandmotherland. Okay, this is what we looked at before. Okay, I'm not gonna go through as far as the content because we already went through that. You can listen and at the last lecture, okay, and you'll get that. But I'm just giving you a visual because we didn't have that visual because I didn't realize that the screen wasn't being shared, okay? So this is what we looked at, talked about the topic of big discussion, a big topic of discussion regarding who the ancient people of this land has to do with the Moors and Moors, blah, 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 and, you know, we got into all of this stuff here. You go back to the last section. I'm just letting you get the visual, and you see the footnotes and all that stuff. Pardon me, my mouse is freezing up. This is the stuff, this is what we looked at that we were reading from. And this is all coming from my Olmec Renaissance, my periodical that I put out. If y'all want to see what it looks like, I'll give you a... Oh, you saw that already. And they also have, this is another, if you want to see like physical, this one was another, this is another one of the Olmec Renaissance. You know, it's a lot of these, but you know, we'll get into those. You know, those of you who know me as a street vendor, y'all have seen those, y'all have bought those back in the days and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna get too much into that right now. We'll deal with the one that we're presently looking at. Lord have mercy, who is this calling me? Okay. Oh yeah, there was another one. Oh yeah. I know I cannot proceed. Before I forget, there's another comment that came in that I want to address. Let's see here. Another comment. Comment from a hybrid, a Mongoloid Indian. Here it is right here. Just give me a second. I'm seeing some. Give me 1 second. I'm seeing some other comments that I think I might have missed. Okay. So this is from JP. This was 3 days ago. He says, I'm Apache Mexican Mayan. You come down here and tell us you are Afro-Africans. Okay. First of all, this fool needs to learn how to construct a sentence. He says, I'm Apache Mayan. You come down here and tell us you are, you come down here and tell us you Afro-Africans are us and we are nothing. GTFO. Afro-Africans. Who the hell said anything about Afro-Africans? Afro is a hairstyle, fool. Nobody said nothing about a damn hairstyle. What the hell are you talking about? Afro-Africans. Who said anything about Africans? You see, so automatically, what you said is null and void right then and there. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about, fool. JP. This clown. You Afro. No. We're not you. You come from us. We are the ancient ones. Okay? And you're not original anything on this land. Okay? And if you are original anything on this land, then prove it. Where's the archaeological evidence? I don't see any that represent you. Show me your representation in stone. Show me the artifacts. I don't see no Mongoloids. I don't see them. I don't see Mongoloids. Okay? All I see is, okay, look in the back right here. Look at my little Olmec right here. Don't look nothing like you. Some of you have some of those features, okay, because you are our offspring, okay, but you're not the original. If I have a child, of course my offspring is going to have some of my resemblance, but you're not the original. You don't have the same hair texture as the Olmecs did, okay, because when I look at Olmec, I see afros. You don't have an afro. You have straight hair. So I don't want to hear your nonsense. Okay? When we look at Lucia, okay, we don't see a resemblance. Okay? When they did the excavations and they dug up Lucia, they said that her features were anything but Mongoloid. Okay? So you are debunked. Alright? So I don't want to hear your nonsense. Alright, I'm getting a call. I'm going to have to take this call. Give me 1 second. Hey, Mom, I'm doing a video. Can I call you right back? Yeah, so, you know, don't come to me with that foolishness. See, if you come to me with nonsense, you know, you got to be able to back up what you're saying with some evidence. Show me some proof. Otherwise, all you have is an opinion, okay, which is worth nothing. Okay, you have an opinion, which is like, and you know, let me not curse, but it's like a you know what. We all got one, okay, and you are a big one, okay, a big a-hole, okay, for coming up on my platform, leaving a comment without any evidence to prove your claim, okay. Anyway, let me not. I just wanted to address that fool, Apache Mexican. I guess you don't know what the original Mexicans and Apaches look like, okay? Later on, further down the line, I will be showing those images, okay? I showed plenty of those images back in the days in the early 2000s, okay, on my earlier YouTube videos. That's why y'all got so upset, okay? And this idiot is probably from that same, coming from that same group of mongoloids. They just changed their name. You know, they create a new YouTube account. You know, I just get upset when people who just have an opinion, you know, if you're going to make a statement, you know, you're going to leave a comment, have something to back up what you're saying, because I'm listening, okay? You know, if you have a good argument and you can prove me wrong, hey, I'll rock with you. You know what I'm saying? I'll rock with you. I'll be like, okay, all right, cool, you're right. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So I'll scrap that previous belief that I had. You know what I'm saying? Or evidence. I don't deal with belief. I just deal with what I can prove. You know what I'm saying? So if your evidence outweighs my evidence, okay, we'll go with that. But don't just come up here with an opinion. You know, it's just like people who come on my page and they want to bash the Moors. It's like they want to bash the Moors, but they haven't read one book on the Moors. Okay? So it's like, if you want to come on my page, you want to bash the Moors, it's like, I don't even want to hear you if you haven't done the research. Let's put this, in other words, let me go to my books. This is just random, okay? I got a lot more, but, okay. If you haven't read The Golden Age of the Moor, edited by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. If you haven't read Ancient and Modern Britons by David McRitchie, Volume 1, and Volume 2. If you haven't read the Holy Quran, Circle 7, if you haven't read Quran Questions for Moorish Americans, if you haven't read Othello's Children in the New World by Dr. Jose Pimienta Bay, PhD, Story of the Moors in Spain, Okay, by Stanley Lane Poole. Story of the Moors after Spain. By Stanley Lane Poole. Black Zion, dealing with the Hebrew Moors, and then some. Okay. Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, or the journals rather, of the Moorish Paradigm, the whole series by Hakim Bey. It's got a whole series of these. See? 1993 to 2005. Okay, Hakim Bey. Moorish National and Divine Movement. Moroccan Treaty of 1787. The Golden Trade of the Moors. This is dealing with the Moors of West Africa. Talk about the Moors in North Africa. This is dealing with the Moors in West Africa and then some. West Africa and the Sudan. If you haven't read Black Arabia by Wesley Muhammad, excellent book. Excellent book. Excellent book. He goes in, man. Woo! Excellent book. All right. And that's just what I can put my hands right on right quick. Okay. That's not to mention the other books that I have on PDF dealing with the Moors. Okay. So in other words, you know, if you're going to step to me, you know, with an opinion, I don't want an opinion. You know, I want to know I want you to come and say, based on my research. You see what I'm saying? Based on this, based on that, not my opinion. You see what I'm saying? Because that just means that, you know, you have a feeling about something. You know, you getting in your feelings. You know, you're emotional. You know, I don't want to hear no emotions. You know what I'm saying? But I love some of the questions that, you know, people have. You know, and the one about how did you go from being a Moor to an Indian? That's a good one. But I'm not gonna go into that because we already dealt with that in the first lecture. That whole series 1 through 10 of the lineage of the Aboriginal movement. So if the brother looks at that series, it should be quite clear. And especially if the brother checks out this series here, he'll really be on point. 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 He You really be on point. And I'm sure he's not the only one. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people who probably have that same question. But again, what people have to remember is that, remember, as I told y'all in the first, as I told y'all in the lineage, you know, I showed y'all my Washita credentials and stuff like that. So, you know, we always said we were Moors. Okay, it was Washita Moors. Washita Moors. Okay, mound builders. So, for, you know, any of the Aboriginal brothers that have the same question, you know, we always, this is nothing new. It's only new to the new generation that's coming into this now. You know, I showed y'all how the narrative changed in 1 through 10, so I'm not going to go backwards. You know, whoever has questions about that, y'all go back and watch those older videos, okay? But we always, you know, said we were Moors, you know. And again, I showed y'all how, you know, I was doing this stuff, you know, long before, you know, any of these guys that are, you know, currently popular now. You know, I was doing it before they were, you know, and I've been saying, I've been saying that you know, we're Moors, that we're Aboriginal, you know, there was no distinction. Okay, so let's so I hope that clears up, you know, a little, at least a little bit, you know, for you all who have those questions. You know, see me with the fez, you know, like I said, anytime I put on a fez or I talk about the Moors or whatever, I get that reaction somewhere in the comment section, you know. Just keep this in mind. I don't, you know, like I say, I don't want to deal too much with that right now because we're going to deal with that later on. I want to lay a foundation, you know. But this is ancient headdress, okay? You talk about the feathers and that and all that, that's more modern, okay? This is ancient. I always deal with the ancient. We're the ancient ones, okay? Turban, okay? Wearing the feathers and all that stuff, that's Western Plains Indians, okay? We're on the East Coast, you know? So you look at what East Coast dress is, it looks totally different. And I'm going to show you, see, later on in the series, I'm going to show you all those pictures. I got all, trust me. I got them, trust me. You're going to see mad fezzes. You're going to see mad turbans. You're going to see all of that. But, you know, I have to bring y'all to that point, you know. So anyway, you know, I don't want to deviate. See, I should not have even gone into the comments section. But, all right, let's get into it. Come on. I'm trying to stay focused. All right, so let's go to, actually, let's go here because it's the same information. And this will be a little more here. Page 14. And again, this is coming from my Olmec Renaissance. Let me bring it back up for y'all, okay? It's one of the journals that I sell. You know, those of y'all who know me, as like I said, know me from street vending, y'all have seen the Olmec Renaissance, okay? All right, so let's get into it. So let's see here. So we're reading from the Olmec Renaissance, and this particular part, the reference for here, because I know that I forget who was it in the comment section, said they were looking for the reference for this part here from the Iran Chamber Society. All you got to do, you just go do a Google search, Iran Chamber Society, on the JAT Iranic identity. Just type that in. Okay, Iran Chamber Society, Moors and Jats. You know, M-O-R. Spell it M-O-R, not M-O-O-R, and it should come up. I already double checked myself. It'll come up. Okay, type in any of those key buzzwords: Moor and Jat, M-O-R and J-A-T-S, or Mauryan Dynasty, M-A-U-R-Y-A-N Dynasty. It'll come up. Anyway, so it says here, evidence exists showing that the Mauryans were from the ancient Manda Empire, and much earlier they were named Muru or Mor by the Egyptian, and in the scriptures where the Moors were called Amaru, Amor, Amorites. With regards to the Amorites, Bible Hub notes that a people descended from Emir, the fourth son of Canaan, Genesis 10:16. They first peopled the mountains west of the Dead Sea near Hebron, but afterwards extended their limits and took possession of the finest provinces of Moab and Ammon on the east between the brooks Jabbok and Arnon. Numbers 13:29, 21:21 through 31, Joshua 5:1, Jude 11:13. Moses took this country from their king Sihon. The lands which the Amorites possessed on this side of Jordan were given to the tribes of Judah, and those beyond the Jordan to the tribes of Reuben and Gad. The name Amorite is taken in scripture for Canaanite in general. Whoa. For Canaanite in general. Genesis 15:16. See Canaanites. All right. Skipping down. Oh, well, let me finish. By the expression, thy father was an Amorite, thy mother a Hittite. Ezekiel 16:3. God reminds the Jews that they were naturally no more worthy of divine favor than the worst of the heathen Canaanites. Let's down. Eaton's Bible Dictionary. Highlanders or hillmen, the name given to the descendants of one of the sons of Canaan, Genesis 14, called Amorah or Amori in the Assyrian and Egyptian inscriptions. On the early Babylonian monuments, all Syria, including Palestine, is known as the land of the Amorites. The southern slopes of the mountains of Judea are called the Mount of the Amorites. Deuteronomy 1:7, 19, 20. They seem to have originally occupied the land stretching from the heights west of the Dead Sea, Genesis 14:7, to Hebron 13, comp 13:8, Deuteronomy 3:8, 4:46 to 48, embracing all Gilead and Bashan, Deuteronomy 3:10, with the Jordan Valley on the east of the river, 4:49. The land of the two kings of the Amorites, Sihon and Og, Deuteronomy 31:4, Joshua 2:10, 9:10. The five kings of the Amorites were defeated with great slaughter by Joshua, 10:10. They were again defeated at the waters of Merom by Joshua, who smote them till there were none remaining, Joshua 11:8. It is mentioned as a surprising circumstance that in the days of Samuel, there was a place between them and the Israelites, 1 Samuel 7:14. The discrepancy supposed to exist between Deuteronomy 1:44 and Numbers 14:45 is explained by the circumstance that the terms Amorites and Amalekites are used synonymously for the Canaanites. Okay, so one thing, and this, let me see, who was it that was Brother Ibrahim? One thing you got to understand is that all of this right here is not talking about over in the East. This is talking about in America. Okay, we're gonna get more deeper into that. We're gonna get more deep into that later on. Okay, we're gonna get deeper into that later on in the lecture series. Okay, but just keep that in mind. All right. At this point, I must mention that there is an unconventional school of thought regarding the Moors that is only known among select groups and adepts of certain orders. This wisdom has begun to surface more and more in the mainstream over the past 20 to 30 years. The big secret is the Moors of the Western Hemisphere and the antiquity of the so-called New World. And the New World is actually the Old World. Okay, Brother Ibrahim, we're going to be constantly giving you bits and pieces of information and putting this whole puzzle together to show you that this is indeed and in fact the Old World. Anthropological evidence is surfacing every day to substantiate this claim, and the Moors play a critical role in this school of thought. Now remember, I'm not talking about Moors in the temple. I'm talking about Moors outside of the temple. Okay? Moorish Americans are the pioneers of this wisdom. What is so interesting here is that in America, we also have Amaru, one of the titles of the Atlantean, Mayan, Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, and they named America Amaruca, meaning land of the plumed serpent, after him. This is mentioned by the late 33rd degree Freemasonic scholar Manly P. Hall in the book The Secret Teachings of All Ages, page 574. Okay, now those of y'all who know me as a street vendor, y'all know this is one of the books that I carried for years, back in the days. And, I was dropping this knowledge on y'all about, America not getting this name from Amerigo Vespucci. Those of y'all who know me from, back in the 90s and stuff. Anyway, the children of the sun adore, this is coming from page 574 of that book. The children of the sun adore the plumed serpent who is the messenger of the sun. He was called Quetzalcoatl in Mexico, Gucamats in Quiche, and in Peru he was called Amaru. From the latter name comes our word America. Amaruca is literally translated land of the plumed serpent. Priests of this god of peace from their chief center in the Cordilleras once ruled both Americas. All the red men who have remained true to the ancient religion are still under their sway. Okay, so Amaru, Amorite, Amaruka, America, and more. Those words are all interconnected. Okay? From this same Amaruka comes Maraca or Morocco. Okay, like the maracas, like the rattle. Okay, that is Morocco. Okay, the same word. And Amada Kapana, names that the natives called America. Oh! 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 Body bag. That the natives called America. Morocco. The original Morocco. We're not talking about somewhere over in the east in Africa. We're talking about right here on these shores, the original Morocco. And as we delve deeper, further into the series, we're going to see it plain as day. All right? So, according to Watson's Jeffersonian Magazine, pages 405 to 406, it reads, in an article entitled The Name America, Herrera, in his History of the West Indies, narrates the voyage of Ojeda, 1499, whom Amerigo Vespucci accompanied as a merchant, and says finally he arrived at a port where they saw a village on the shore called Maracaibo by the natives, which had 26 large houses of bell shape, built on pillars or supports with swinging bridges leading from one to another, and as looked like Venice in appearance, he gave it that name, which was subsequently adopted by the Republic of Venezuela. This simple sentence is conclusive proof that at the time Vespucci made his first landing in the western continent, the port he stopped at was called Maracaibo, America or America land. Another thing that is extremely worth noting is that the term Moor, according to Bachart, comes from a Hebrew word, Mahuran, which signifies western. Okay, and I give you the footnote here. Okay, you look right there, you see I have right there, you look at the footnote, okay, down here at the bottom, the footnote is coming from the book, History of the Moors of Spain by M. Florian, and it's mentioned on page 20 of that book in the footnote, all right? As a matter of fact, America is Maghrib al-Aqsa, Morocco, farthest west. This is evidenced by the fact that in the extreme northwest, we have Al-Aqsa. All right, now let's take a look here. Let's go to the PowerPoint. Matter of fact, I'll wait. Let's read on. Sir Walter Raleigh reached the same region 1595 and wrote, "It is a beautiful valley of Ameriocapana." Sir Walter, also writing in 1596, describes one of the younger brothers of Atahualpa, the Inca of Peru, whom the Spaniards under Pizarro had slain, as taking thousands of soldiers and nobles of Peru, and with these vanquishing all that tract and valley of America situated between the rivers Orinoco and Amazon. Besides this, the name given to the whole country between the coast of Amaraca, which stretched from the Orinoco River to Maracaibo Bay, and thence to the whole country between Maracaibo Bay and the Pacific, was called Amarca. The whole country, while the whole country, now known as Bogota, and stretching down to Peru, was called Cox Amarca. Along the heights of the Andes in this region, the name again appears in the capital city, which was also called Cox Amarca. In one of its nearby towns called Pult Amarca, P-U-L-T Amarca, and in the three other local names strewn to the southward along the Andes of Andamarca and Catamarca, down near the mouth of the river Cumana, was Amaracapana. Previously mentioned, while out in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Amaracapana was the large island of Tamarake, Tamaracu. Okay, and we're gonna deal with this right here later on in the series, okay, because this right here ties into the Egyptian Tameri. Okay, a Spanish mode of spelling the same word, also a name given to one of the gods or one of the names given to the great spirit of the natives. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in the Holy Quran, Circle 7, Chapter 47, entitled Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa, states, the Moabites from the land of Moab who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Okay, from the land of Canaan. We already told you this is the land of Canaan. Okay, seeking new homes over there. Their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, meaning the Caribbean, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. This is a powerful chapter and right on point. We had an empire on both sides of the present-day Atlantic Ocean, and when the continents were one landmass, and when the continents were one landmass. The Amaru, as mentioned earlier, are aboriginals in America. There is also the Amaru, Meru tribe in Kenya. Okay, now let's check this out. Let's go to the slide. and look at the extent of the empire, of the Moorish Empire. Okay. So if you look, this is coming from Churchward. All right. You see his move. See all the colonies set up. Here's North America. Okay. South America, Central America. Okay. You see all of these lines. These are all the different colonies of Mu. Okay. And what did the Empress of the Washita tell you? She said, we are Moors, M-U-U-R. Okay. Descendants of Mu. All right. You see going all the way across and see to the island of Atlantis. Okay, now the mainland is the mainland of Atlantis. Okay, the island in the Atlantic Ocean is the island of Atlantis. Okay, and you see the colonies going all the way here to Atlantis, through South America, to Africa, okay, to Europe, okay, to Asia. All right, all of that. All of that. Who's working all of this here. All right. And so if you look here on this map, okay, again, these are excerpts from my book, okay, the map and all that. Okay, here is Quetzalcoatl, also known as Amaru. Okay, right over here. See where the pointer is? All right. And so let's take a look. So now you have, if you look here, the Moorish Empire. Okay, all of this here, all of this is Moorish. All the places where you see Moors on both sides of the Atlantic, okay? Here's the Atlantic Ocean here, okay? Here's the west, here's the east, okay? So you have Quetzalcoatl right here, who is also known as the plumed serpent, plumed meaning feathered, okay? But you also have the plumed serpent right over here in Kemet or Egypt, okay? You have the plumed serpent, okay? All right? And you have Amaru. And over here you see you have Amaru. All over here. You have Amaru right here in Kenya. Okay, all of these, all this yellow, these are the countries where you have Amaru. Okay. And you have all over here. All right. Now let's go back to the reading, and we'll follow along here. We got a lot. We got a lot to cover. Just this map alone, we got that right there will probably take about another hour to cover the map. Okay. Anyway. Okay. According to encyclopedia.com, the Meru are a northeastern Bantu group composed of 9 different sub-tribes. The Igembe, Tigania, Imenti, Mutini, Igoji, Tharaka, Chuka, Mutambi, and Umwimbi. And I'm probably butchering these indigenous African names. Pardon me, my brothers and sisters on the continent. Since 1956, these sub-tribes have been separated from the Kikuyu and Imbu to form the Meru land unit. Ooh. At the end of the 20th century, the Meru subtribes occupied 4 adjoining districts in Eastern Province: Meru South, Meru Central, Meru North, and Tharaka. The ethnonyms include Amaro, Amaru, Mamaru, Kimaru, Mero. With regards to history and cultural relations, encyclopedia.com continues. Meru history spans approximately 3 centuries. Along the first 200 years are documented solely through oral testimony. Although there are conflicting views on the origins of the Meru, the Mbwa tradition is the most popular. This tradition claims that the Meru migrated to the Mount Kenya region from the island of Mbwa, which is considered by many historians to be off the coast of the Indian Ocean. Around the year 1700, Mbwa was attacked by the Red People, Nungungtune, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Meru were held in captivity until a great leader organized their escape across receding waters. The Meru then migrated along the Tana River, reaching the base of Mount Kenya, Tigania, and Naimbene in the 1730s. There is a town in Ethiopia called Amaru. Okay, let's go back to the map. Okay, here in Ethiopia, okay, you have Meru, okay, or Amaru. In Uganda, there is a town called Amaru. Oh, man. Right? Right here. See the pointer? In Uganda. Right here. Right here. Okay? Called Amaru. Uganda. In Tanzania, there is also a Meru / Wamaru tribe. Talking about right in this area here. Tanzania. Okay? This area here. In ancient Africa, Kush was also called Meroe. Man. Hold on. All right. So we're over in this area here. So it says here, in a lecture on ancient Africa in the section called Ancient Africa, Meroe, I'm sorry, in in a lecture on ancient Africa in a section called Ancient Africa, Meroe, Sarah Wood, she says, around 1050 BC, Egypt's dominion over Nubia came to an end. It was not until approximately 900 BC that a new power subjugated this territory for no less than 1,000 years, and subjugated and for no less than 1,000 years determined its history. This power, called the Kingdom of Napata and Meroe, is also known as the Kingdom of Kush. The Kingdom of Kush is divided into two periods: the Napatan period lasting until 270 BC and the Meroitic period existing from the fall of that kingdom toward the year 320 AD. Woods continues, today we can say with some certainty that the ruling class in the Kingdom of Kush was not made up of Egyptian or Libyan immigrants as we had frequently assumed in the past. The names of the royal family as well as high-ranking officials and priests prove that they belonged to the people whose language became the written language of the Meroitic period. We call them Meroites. In addition, the custom of matrilineal succession and the development of royal tomb installations reveal that the social and cultural traditions of the ruling class were not derived from Egyptians, but from the peoples of the Upper Nile Valley. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, God. Woo! I mean, it just, you can't make this stuff up, man. You cannot make this stuff up. I mean, it's just now, it's not even, it's beyond an argument, you know? You can't argue with the facts. You know, either it is or either it's not. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you have to really dig. You know what I'm saying? You have to really dig. And, you know, what you see again on one side of the Atlantic is the same thing that you see on the other side of the Atlantic. Okay? And that's just what it is, you know? So let us go. Take a look here. All right. So we're looking right here in this area here. This is Kush. All right. This region here, bordering, you know, with Ethiopia. All right. And so let's just take a look at it here. Oh wait, let me see. Was there something else that I wanted to? Yeah, we're running out of time. But let's just deal with a little bit right here. So okay, so Amaru. All right. So we showed you, you know, plenty of places on the continent called Amaru. Okay. See, what you got to understand, and this goes up to who was it? Who had? I think it was a brother Ibrahim. Okay. Besides just, because long before I read Horace Butler's book, Horace Butler's book is, fairly new. But even before I read that, like back in the 90s, I read a book called Queen Mu and the Egyptian Sphinx by Augustus Laplangione. And according to Laplangione, the Mayans had went out, okay, and colonized different parts of the world and brought civilization. Okay? Now, maybe I should go into, I don't want to jump the gun. Let me continue reading. This way we don't go over the same material. Let me see. Okay, that's coming much later. All right, let's read on. In the Sudan, Meroe was the capital of a great empire on the Nile in Paris, France. An exhibit at the Musée du Louvre called Meroe Empire on the Nile, March 26, 2010 to September 6, 2010. The description reads, in this first exhibition devoted exclusively to Meroe, the capital of a great empire on the Nile, 200 works of art highlight the majesty of an ancient civilization and its intermingling of African, Egyptian, and Greco-Roman influences. Situated in Sudan, 200 kilometers north of present-day Khartoum, the royal capital of Meroe is famed for the pyramids of the kings and queens who dominated the region between 270 BC and AD 350. This is very interesting because when one studies deeply enough, you will find that the term Meroe can be traced back to America via Atlantis. In the book, Atlantis, the Antediluvian World by Ignatius Donnelly, page 171, he says, 1. Lenormant insists that the human race issued from Upper Meron and adds that some Greek traditions point to this to this locality, particularly the expression, all right, this is written in Greek. I don't speak the language, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, which only can mean the man sprung from Meru. Manual, page 21. Theopompus tells us that the people who inhabited Atlantis were Meropes, the people of Meru. Theopompus tells us that the people who inhabited Atlantis were the Meropes, people of Meru, to whence came the word Atlantic. The dictionary tells us that the Atlantic Ocean is named after mountains of Atlas. But whence did the Atlas Mountains get their name? The word Atlas and Atlantic have no satisfactory etymology in any language known to Europe. They are not Greek and cannot be referred to any known language of the Old World. But in the Nahuatl language, we find immediately the radical a-atl, a-atl, which signifies water, war, and the top of the head. Okay? And I give you the resource for this information in the footnote. Yeah, coming from Ignatius Donnelly's book. Okay? Which we already said in the text. All right? So, let me see. Where did we leave off at? All right. 33. Let's see. It is important to note that According to Plato, Atlantis and the Atlantic Ocean were named after Atlas, Poseidon's eldest son, who founded the kingdom. And there is in the northwestern part of Africa an Atlas Mountain. Okay, Atlas Mountains. The Atlas Mountains are a series of mountain ranges in northwest Africa, running generally southwest to northeast to form the geological backbone of the countries of the Maghreb, the western region of the Arab world, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. Near the Atlas Mountains, there were a people called Atlantes during the time of Herodotus. Remember, we had shown earlier that the Atlanteans were Moors, Meropes, a people of Meru. How ironic is it that we find a people called Atlantis in the Maghreb, the heart of the classical Moors? Donnelly, on page 172 of Atlantis, says, how comes it that the people of the Barbary states were known to the Greeks, Romans, and Carthaginians as Atlantes, this name being especially applied to the inhabitants of Fezzan and Bilma? Where did they get the name from? There is no etymology for it east of the Atlantic Ocean. Leon Marx, Ancient History of the East, page 233. Look at it. An Atlas Mountains on the shore of Africa, an Atlan town on the shore of America, the Atlantes living along the north and west coast of Africa, an Aztec people from Aztlan in Central America, an ocean rolling between the two worlds called Atlantic, a mythological deity called Atlas holding the world on his shoulders, and an immemorial tradition of an island of Atlantis. Can all these things be the result of accident? On page 173, Donnelly continues, how can we, without Atlantis, explain the presence of the Basques in Europe, who have no lingual affinities with any other race on the continent of Europe, but whose language is similar to the languages of America? Stop. So now let's just look. Okay? So, this is the region he's talking about. Okay? Barbary region. Okay? Where you have the Atlantes and the Atlantis, the Atlas Mountains. Okay? I mean, and like he said, you see the same thing on both sides. Okay? I mean, and near this same region, you have a people called Atlantes. Okay? And here in this region here, Mexico and Mesoamerica and Central America, okay, you have Aztlan, the people, the Aztecs. I mean, again, what you have on once, because, you got to remember, we were on both sides. You see, what we have to do as people who are aboriginal to this land, we have to start to get beyond the idea of the noble savage. Okay, they would love for you to believe that we were just some landlocked people here just in America wearing diapers, living in teepees, naked, with no civilization. But that's far from the truth. And as we progress later on, you're going to see just how untrue that really is. But for right now, I'm going to bring it to a close because we got a lot to cover, and we can't do it all in one night. Okay, again, you know, we may be looking at, you know, this is, you know, this is gonna go on for a while. So, you know, we got a ways to go. So just be patient. You know, just like the first lecture, you know, that was, you know, that was a whole 10 parts. You know, we'll probably be going another 10 parts with this because there's too much information, and I don't want to do y'all an injustice by trying to rush through this stuff. All right. So on that note, y'all, I'm gonna bring it to a close. And until then, do da da, gone home, eat.